This week marked a new era for the city of Golden Valley. Rosalind Harmon was sworn in as the new mayor, making her the first person of color to hold that office.
I, Rosalind Harmon,
do solemnly swear.
Dozens of friends, family members, and elected officials, including U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar and St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter, joined Harmon in the Golden Valley Council chambers as she took the oath of office. Harmon acknowledged the historic nature of her election and thanked the people who voted her into office.
To the residents and citizens of Golden Valley, I am up here, we are up here for you, okay? That is what this is about. And so I just really want to make it loud and clear that community comes first and your voice will be heard.
Harmon won election by just 26 votes. Her mother is Rose McGee, who founded the Sweet Potato Comfort Pie Initiative. A historic night, also a joyful moment in the Golden Valley City Council chambers. That's the young son of Sophia Guinness, who provided a moment of levity at City Hall as his mom was sworn in. Guinness was elected for the first time to City Council last fall after being appointed to the role. She spoke about an issue important to her as the new council sets goals.
Before the election, we got kind of a report on housing. Golden Valley has almost zero available affordable housing. That is a problem, and something that I know many of us sitting up at this dais bring as a priority.
Councilmember Maurice Harris was also reelected to the council, calling the opportunity to serve another 4 years humbling. Minnesota's so-called red flag gun law went into effect on the first of the year. Governor Tim Walz spoke at the Capitol as Minnesota became the 20th state to enact a red flag law.
This saves one life, that's good enough.
Governor Tim Walz, along with lawmakers and advocates, spoke in favor of the state's new red flag gun law.
Sometimes people can't see when they're in crisis, and if you're able to remove that firearm from that situation, you're able to save lives.
Legally known as extreme risk protection orders, the law allows the courts to temporarily prohibit someone from buying or possessing a firearm. Senator Ron Latz, one of the bill's lead authors, says red flag laws prevent shootings and suicide.
It's not often we get to stand up here and say what we did will in fact save lives, but absolutely, this one will.
Family members, law enforcement, or a county attorney can request a protection order if they believe someone is a risk to themselves or others.
This is a good move forward. I'm glad Minnesota finally got here. This was after years of just no hearings, nothing happening, and stonewalling, and this is smart. And I say this as a gun owner, as a veteran, as a lifelong hunter. None of these things infringe upon your constitutional rights to safe usage of firearms. What they do is they save lives and they make our cities and our homes a little bit safer.
In St. Paul, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
The law was approved in May during the last legislative session. State Representative Cedric Frazier of New Hope was the bill's chief author in the House. In other news, a shooting over a pair of shoes has resulted in a 23-year sentence for a 20-year-old Plymouth man. A judge sentenced Augustus Sirleaf this week after Sirleaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Sirleaf is expected to serve more than 14 years of his sentence in prison, with the balance on supervised release. 17-year-old Yassine Johnson of Albertville was shot and killed in November of 2022 outside a Plymouth apartment complex. Court records show Sirleaf and a second person arranged to meet Johnson through a sale of high-end sneakers with the intent of robbing him. Our historically warm winter is putting a pause on a classic Minnesota pastime, ice fishing. I explain the open water risks and how people are keeping busy in the meantime.
In the heat of summer or the chill of winter, a fisherman braves all conditions.
We're usually ice fishing on 10 inches, 12 inches of ice right now, and sometimes more in other spots up north.
Jack Betker at JR's Tackle in Brooklyn Park says this winter isn't quite biting like it should, and customers are adapting. Sort of.
They're anxious and either waiting to get out in the summer or they're putting their shack away and getting their boat out is really probably what they're doing.
It's making for open water and dangerous conditions on the lakes.
I would just tell people, hang in there. It's early ice, there's no ice, don't go out, don't risk it.
For now, experts say it's best for anglers to stay at bay.
You could lose your equipment, you could lose your life. It could be very dangerous.
Ben Ulrich is a conservation officer for the Department of Natural Resources.
It's not typical for January. Usually we have pretty good ice by this point.
He says the open water cuts the ice fishing season, which ends in March, short. But some people are finding a workaround.
They're out, especially on the rivers, and they're out and they're just open water fishing from the shore. So we see a lot of shore anglers right now still.
For now, Ulrich says stay off the ice. And when it gets colder, don't get too eager.
It's not going to be safe right away. DNR recommends at least 4 inches of ice on the water for walking out and getting out there for ice fishing.
And if it ever gets cold enough for ice houses to get on the lake, they do have to be removed by early March. A new business is coming to Robbinsdale, one that aims to provide great food and entertainment in the city. Johnny May's Lounge plans to open at a location in the town center shopping complex. The family-owned business is a tribute to the owner's mother, Johnny May, who passed away last year. Andre Bell says the business was years in the making.
The struggle that it took to get to this place, it was like once we got the okay for everything and all the money was there, I just cried. It was very emotional for me.
Johnny May's Lounge will serve a variety of food and offer Sunday brunch. It also plans to offer a variety of entertainment, including live comedy and karaoke nights. The venue hopes to open in 2 weeks.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.
After a pair of one-goal losses, the Breck boys hockey team won its last game at the Herb Brooks Holiday Classic last week. They look to carry that momentum into January. Chaz Moots has highlights of the Mustangs game against St. Paul Academy.
Breck came into Tuesday night with a 6-5-1 record. St. Paul Academy 2-5 on the season. Jumped to the second period, shot from the point, rebound in the slot from Ben Amato. Bar down, great flick from the junior. Just a minute later, it's Amato weaving his way through the defense, and again from the slot flick, bar down. He's got a second. Breck in front, 3-2. Still in the second, the Mustangs looking to go in front. Patty Green with some nice stick handling before going up top for his first goal of the game. The Mustangs would stay busy in the second. Garrett Trench dumped to Green, who dishes it back to Trench, who slides it in for the goal. Breck up 5-2. SPA on a power play. Casey Lynn wasting no time. Shot from the blue line goes in, but Breck would hold on. They score all 5 of their goals in the second period and get the win 5-4. In Golden Valley, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
The Osseo boys hockey team closed out 2023 with a win in their final holiday tournament game in Proctor. The Orioles aim to make it 2 in a row Tuesday night.
St. Michael Albertville making the trip to Osseo to take on the Orioles in a non-conference matchup. Nice passing by the Orioles here. Gavin Kroska to Bennett Prokop. Back to Kroska, backhands it in. It's 1-0 Osseo in the second period. Late in the period, the Orioles on the power play. They win the face-off and work the puck over to Prokop, who fires a wrist shot in for a power play goal. Osseo leads 2-0 through 2 periods. Under 6 minutes to play in the third when STMA's Alex Hernandez passes to Blake Coed in the slot. He scores from there. Knights on the board at 2-1. 2 minutes later, the puck gets to number 14, Tanner Esterberg at the side of the Osseo net. His goal ties the game at 2, and the teams head to overtime. Final minute of OT, and the Orioles win it. Eli Larson's shot is deflected, and number 20, Jake Sawicki, knocks the loose puck in for the game winner. The Orioles win 3-2. They'll host Coon Rapids Thursday night.
One of the early surprise success stories of the winter season in the area has been the Osseo girls basketball team. Jay Wilcox has more on the Orioles.
Despite a lot of new faces in the lineup this winter, things are clicking for the Osseo girls basketball team. They enter 2024 with a 7-2 record after winning a total of 7 games last season and 7 the year before.
Good, definitely better than the past. It's fun to start my senior season off with like a positive schedule, winning a bunch of games.
I think what we do best is playing our role. I think what's different about this team is we have variability between positions, and there's so much talent in different areas. So I think we're definitely working where we know we can strive or do well in and stuff. So
I love this group of kids. They work hard every single night. They play team basketball. And I think that's a big thing for us, right? I think in past years we've had 1 or 2 kids we've had to really rely on, especially on the offensive end. We've got 4 or 5 kids that can score double digits, which is great.
Orioles coach Doug Erlin has announced that this will be his last season. He's co-head coach with former Osseo standout Joey Sonnenfeld. Erlin and his players are eager to see if the early success can carry over into the heart of the Northwest Suburban Conference schedule.
I mean, we've been winning so far, but we haven't had that many conference games, so I think we're definitely a stronger bonded team, but I hope we can just translate that over to conference games and onto the court.
We have Centennial Thursday night, and they've always been really, really good and physical. So we need to come ready to play for that. But yeah, you're right. Night in and night out, we got to, you play great teams in conference. It's going to set you up for what you need to do once we get to March.
Their work is paying off, and there's plenty of smiles around Osseo girls basketball right now. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.